To be quite honest, my life was turning upside down when I moved to Yakima. And my best friend said, man, if I would ask that guy for help, because if my life was in danger, I trust him. And he told me something that I've never even thought. He was like, I think you should stay here in Yakima, which I was like, well, you don't know me because I'm really close with my family.
So what are you doing now to generate leads for your business?
I think that's what I'm scared of most because I haven't been doing much. I've been busy from just people knowing me. And this is what I think I told Tracy, because she was like, what have you done to be successful or whatever to get all these transactions in your first 6 months? And I was like, man, can't put it on paper. I'm trying to think of what I'm doing. And I was talking to my friend and I told him about the conversation. I was like, man, the Tracy had asked me this and that, what I'm doing, and I can't put my finger on it. And he says, what do you mean? I can. And I was like, what? And he was like, dude, this is 13 years of treating people the right way, 13 years of being respectful, 13 years of just always doing the right thing and being a bright energy wherever you go. He's like, it's easy to trust people like that. And it's paying off. And he's like, and that's when I was like, it's kind of true, because I do live my life that way of just doing the next right thing. If all else, just don't harm anyone. You know what I mean? Like just try not to harm anyone. And I've lived that way and I've found it to quite frankly save my life, literally. Back in 2012. So that is kind of what I've been doing, but I've been stressing about creating leads for next year, like by filling my pipeline, because other than these sales and like referrals, there's not, man, I've even stopped like posting social media and stuff like that because I've been busy, but I know I can't get like that. I
Right.
can't because it will run out. You have to have a pipeline in which I'm like I think it was yesterday, I was telling myself like go to the office and spend 2 hours just like because I have a notebook and pen and paper of hundreds of names and phone numbers and emails of people that I've helped with landscaping. And I'm like, I just need to enter them into my database. And I haven't done that yet, but that is what I'm going to do, and that is on my to-do list.
I love that you've identified that because you're absolutely correct. I mean, that is the key. Gary Keller says you cannot give up tomorrow's business to service today's, right?
Mhm.
And that's what typically happens for most realtors. We get in the business, we go and we start generating leads, and all of a sudden out pops a transaction, right? And now we're focused on servicing that transaction and we drop the lead generation ball. And then we get done with the deal and we're like, oh, what do I do now? Oh, I got to start generating leads again, right? So I love the fact that you've identified that. And, what I think is fascinating, Jordan, I'm glad your friend pointed it out to you because when you do things that are natural for you, right? You're very entrepreneurial, you're outgoing, you're very friendly. That's why you get that business. And it feels like it's just luck, but it's not actually, it's you doing what you do. So the question then is how do you do that in a way that happens whether you feel like it or not? And oh, by the way, when you get busy, it's still happening, right?
Yes,
And that's
yes.
that's where creating a business and creating systems that drive that business really matters. I want to you mentioned it several times, and I think this is fascinating. You mentioned the word mentor,
Mhm.
and it sounds to me like you have and have had multiple mentors in your life. How did you come to that place of wanting to have those type of people influence you?
To be quite honest, my life was turning upside down when I moved to Yakima, and my best friend said, man, if I would ask that guy for help, because if my life was in danger, I trust him.
Mhm.
And I just asked that man, his name is Bryce, who's my mentor till this day, what I should do in a certain situation. And he told me something that I've never even thought. He was like, I think you should stay here in Yakima, which I was like, well, you don't know me because I'm really close with my family. Like, I got to go back to Omek and this and that. And he's like, he pretty much made sense of it. He's just like, I'm not emotionally attached to your decisions. So I can tell you, what right from wrong. And this is why it's right. This is why it's wrong, so to speak. And from I did what I think I had surrendered in life to the point where I was just said, okay. I said, okay. And like I said, it saved my life. I haven't had any mind altering substances, any alcohol or anything from that day forward. And just that alone for me was a psychic change, was a miracle for me. So he was the first one, and I would bounce everything off him, and then he would never take my side in things. He would just then I begin to think like, dang, he is really just seeing it from a outside perspective. So I think, and then business, when it came to business, and he's an entrepreneur as well. So he's my mentor for everything. I'm talking relationships, finances, romances, whatever. Like I'm like, hello, hey, what do you think? He's like, dude, but so I think that's kind of what started the mentorships, and then just people I've looked up to are like, really, I just look at them and say, they got what I want. I wonder what they did, you know? And I just ask, I guess. I would say Rich, he's the owner of Tailgaters out in Sela, and he's a successful businessman. And when I was getting into my own business, I reached out to him, and he told me, he was like, he told me he said, if I could give you, Jordan, advice, you've worked for me for 4 years. He said, I would just put your energy and your face on everything you possibly can. And he's like, and I think you'll be well off if you're able to do that. And that's something I took to heart. So I think just trusting other people's perspectives, respecting them, and knowing that they can be true, and mine are foggy, you know.
Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe and join us as we continue to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, and lives worth living.